contribute more in taxes.
Children of immigrants, even their tax money is going to benefit you, right?
An average than their parents of the rest of the U.S. born population. Research further finds that immigrants pay more into the healthcare system through taxes and health insurance premiums than they utilize helping to subsidize healthcare.
Right. So the money that they paying in to the healthcare, they don't even use nowhere near as much as they paying in, right? So they're taking a loss on that too. Just continuing to build up American society financially, right? Even though they're talked about, looked down on, as if they're worthless. Right? So give me a... Okay, read on.
For the U.S. born citizens, earlier research found that without the contributions undocumented immigrants make to the...
Right, so, hey, the ones that they want to get rid of are helping to hold this place up, right? It's like kicking the leg from underneath a three-legged stool. Somebody gonna hit the floor, right?
Earlier research found that without the contributions undocumented immigrants make to the Medicare Trust Fund, it will reach unsolvency earlier.
Right. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 38.
I'll read 38 and 39. I read it backwards. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Verse 39. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them.
That's right. In this case, the worm is just, hey, Americans, right? Eating up all of what the so-called Mexicans paid into the society. Right? Read on.
And that undocumented immigrants result in a net positive effect on the financial status of Social Security.
That's right. The Mexicans' contribution to America is positive overall. Not like heathens, right, that are walking around here acting like they own the place. But if they get missing, everybody's going to cheer, right? But when the Hispanics get out of here, everybody's going to mourn because now people got to get to work. And furthermore, people going to find out that it ain't that easy, right? You used to just sitting behind your laptop collecting checks, right? And now you're mad because Donald Trump's kicking y'all in the ass, right? Making y'all get a real job, right? Or prove that you've been working. Beautiful. See that? So where we at?
Expanding.
Come on, let's read on.
Expanding capacity to carry out mass deportations will likely be a significant cost to taxpayers and may require additional accolades by Congress.
Right. So in other words, you kick the so-called only people, or you pick the only people that's working around here out. Well, now we got a lot of financial issues, right? Because the government can't support itself by itself, right?
New estimates suggest that Trump's plan to deport millions of undocumented immigrants could cost hundreds of billions of dollars. Trump selected border czar reported an estimated cost of $86 billion.
$86 billion if the Latinos leave America, right? Or just to get them deported, you have to spend that much money to create FEMA camps to hold them, right? Read on.
Expanding detention capacity to support large-scale deportations will require large investments in infrastructure, including set up new detention facilities, expanding immigration court capacity, increasing the use of private contractors and paying for more flight used for deportation.
That's right. And see, that's where Elon Musk comes in, right? He's got the planes, right? So it's just another revenue stream for him, right? Whenever they start to set up the infrastructure to deport more Israelites, you know, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they set themselves up right in line to catch a lot of money from that, right? Because that's all the Israelites are to the so-called white man and the heathens, is just another stream of revenue or income, right? So let's get in this other article a little bit, just to show that, hey, this ain't nothing new, right? So-called white man and other nations been plotting and planning. They never stop planning against the Israelites, right? They never stop. All right, so let's get in this article. Just gonna bring a little bit of this out. You can read the rest on your own if you need, right? And we're just gonna pull out these ass verses and close it out, right? I think we're making the point here. There's judgment on Babylon, right? And a lot of it is self-inflicted, right? Because they're not blessing the Israelites. Okay? So let's get this title and get me this article.
This for the Texas Tribune by Uriel J. Garcia, February 12th, 2025. Trump, and the name of the article is Trump mass deportation plans have echoes of a 1950s federal crackdown that swept through Texas.
Right. And there ain't nothing changed but the name here, right? They're still targeting the same individuals, right? Northern Kingdom tribe of Israelites, right? Issachar and the other Central and South American tribes. Okay? So let's get into this.
In the summer of 1955, Joseph M. Swing, the commissioner of the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service, wrote in his 138-page annual report that the wetback problem no longer exists.
The wetback problem no longer exists. That's what he titled his report. You see that? So you already know where his headspace is. He's the same way Donald Trump's is right now, and the rest of the heathens. Okay? Read on.
The border has been secured, he declared. His comments came a year after a months-long U.S. Border Patrol mission across the country, including California, South Texas, Chicago, and the Mississippi Delta, that the government dubbed Operation Wetback, using a racist term for Mexican immigrants.
That's right. And that same sentiment applies today. Right? I'm pretty sure on some paperwork in the Oval Office, in parentheses, somewhere it says Operation Wetback. You see that? Read on.
The operation was hatched after California officials claimed that Mexican immigrants, many of whom entered the U.S. legally via the Barack Road program, were committing crimes and using public resources meant for U.S. citizens.
And we know that's just fabrications, right? They just trumping up propaganda against these brothers. See? Same thing they're doing now. So as we're reading this, it would sound like we're talking about current times, but this is 1950s, people. Right? Let's read on.
The roughly 750 officers assigned to the mission were ordered to arrest undocumented Mexican immigrants in farms, parks, neighborhoods, and ranches. When it ended, the Border Patrol claimed it deported nearly 1.2 million Mexicans.
See that? And that's it. They're in that same spirit now.
Right.
You see? Trying to get y'all out of here, man. All right, read on.
It was the last time the federal government attempted mass deportation in the country interior. 70 years later,
Which is right now.
another president had promised to repeat what President Dwight Eisenhower administration did during the summer of 1954.
That's right. Hey, there ain't nothing new, man. It's just repackaging it, right? And trying to figure out where they went wrong last time, right? They trying to figure out how they can get 2 million out this time or 5 million out. But we already showed how doing that is going to affect them negatively as well, right? Because the so-called Mexican man, he's not the scourge of the earth that he's purported to be. He's just a lowly Israelite brother out here trying to make his way and trying to serve his power best he can amongst the heathens and the Gentiles, right? Read on.
President Donald Trump cited Eisenhower's operation during his presidential campaign and promised to oversee the mass deportation as soon as he took office. On his first day in office, Trump signed 10 executive orders related to immigration, all meant to reduce immigrants entering the country legally or illegally.
Right. And so we know who he's talking about, right? Talking about, we ain't talking about the Ukrainians or the Russians, we talking about the Israelites, right? So let's get a last little bit on this that I'm gonna read.
In her book, she wrote that the Border Patrol agents didn't do anything.
Okay, hold on. So, you know, a sister wrote a book, right, which was showing the hypocrisies and all the miseducations being pushed about the Northern Kingdom Israelites. Go ahead.
In her book, she wrote that the Border Patrol agent didn't do anything they didn't normally do as a part of their jobs during the operation. But the rhetoric around the effort was meant to scare Mexican immigrants to leave on their own.
See, and that's what they're doing now. They want to stir up enough confusion and unrest so that they're hoping that these brothers would just get up, take their families, and leave on their own. Right? But guess what? They don't know who they're dealing with. These brothers don't quit and give up that easy. See? Read on.
The propaganda campaign is real.
Right.
It is something that needs to be taken seriously, Hernandez said, referring to both the 1950s operation and today's efforts by the Trump administration. That does not take away from a terror campaign.
That's right. They're here to terrorize. Wow, yeah, that's it on that, man. Appreciate it. Hey, so you see that it's the status quo here in America, right? To make the Israelites uncomfortable, right? So I'm gonna run down some verses here, right, to knock this point home. It's a judgment on Babylon, right? Also known as America, for these very things I've been bringing out, right? So let's go to Psalm 7:6-9.
Psalm chapter 7 and verse 6. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger, lift up thyself because of the rage of mine enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded.
That's right. Hey, we want the Most High to stir up this place, right, and jump in on our defense. Go ahead.
So shall the congregation of the people compass thee about. For their sakes, therefore, return thou on high. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to mine integrity that is in me. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous God trieth the hearts and reins.
That's right. Hey, that's what we pray. That's what we pray. That's what we want, right? We want the Most High to judge this place and judge us as well, right? For our consistency, right, and for our steadfastness, right? Yeah, we want judgment on this whole place, and we want wickedness destroyed, and we want righteousness lifted up on high, where it should be, right? Save us from our enemies, hey, and look for righteousness, right? So let's see. Were the heathens righteous? Give me Psalms 137:3, then jump down.
Psalm 137 and verse 3. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth. saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion.
That's right. You know, they got us in slavery, got us in captivity, right? Broke us spiritually and emotionally, and then said, hey, don't be sad over there, sing us a song, right? Put on a happy face, you know? That's wicked, right? All right, jumping down to 7.
Psalm 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Woo!
Hey, so it's going to be a judgment, right? That's coming right out the Bible. Shouldn't be sad for the judgment of America. Should be happy, right? Happy shall you be when we pay the heathens and our enemies back for what they did to us.
That's right.
See that? And you know, it might sound a little harsh, but it was harsh. So why should it be easy on them now?
That's right.
That's not justice, right? So-called white man wants everybody to be happy and holding hands and singing along together now that he's already destroyed everybody.
Absolutely.
Right? Before we get a chance to pay him back, he wants us to come together and forgive him.
Right.
You forgive yourself,
That's right.
right? Because I'm cheering on the Most High to destroy every Edomite on the planet, right? And then everybody will be able to relax.
The trees and everything.
Right. So, hey, the heathens, they've been totally unreasonable, right? We remember what happened, what they did to us and other people. We remember that, and we try not to let anybody forget, right? And we pray for justice, which, hey, comes in Psalm 137 and verse 9, right? Dashing little ones against the stones. It happened to our children.
That's right.
Right? How come when we talk about when it was done to us, it doesn't, nobody's like, oh, that's terrible.
Right.
It is terrible. And that's why it's got to happen to you.
That's right.
Because,